श्रीवत्सवंशकलशोदधिकौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासराघवगुरोस्तनयं ततश्च विद्यावाप्य विबुधोत्तमतां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि. In the previous lecture, we saw about 3 examples on knowledge versus devotion. I hope my screen is visible. The first example we saw was of Bhagavad Ramanuja with one of his acharyas called Goshti Purna. Bhagavad Ramanuja wanted to study from Yamunacharya, but Yamunacharya was too old and he left for the supreme abode before Bhagavad Ramanuja could reach there. So what happened? His Shishyas became the gurus of Bhagavad Ramanuja. Bhagavad Ramanuja prayed, who should I go to? Then he received the answer from Bhagavan himself. Bhagavan said, you should go to Mahapurna, whom we call Periyanambi in Tamil. Now, Mahapurna Swami taught him a lot of things. He performed the Panchasamskara Diksha and also taught him a lot of things. But after that, there were other acharyas as well. For example, Sri Shaila Purna taught him Ramayana. Goshti Purna taught him Rahasyarthas. Now, Rahasya means a very, very deep philosophical concept. In this context, it means a very, very deep philosophical concept that is known only to a few people. In these kinds of deep philosophical concepts, Trikoshtiur Nambi, that is Goshti Purna, he was an expert. He understood them in depth very well. Therefore, he wanted to teach it only to the most fit people. There are a number of unfortunately incorrect things being floated around in this regard. For example, if we approach logically, we would understand that as the knowledge being imparted is of a very superior level, it is not for the ordinary person. Periyanambi himself is a great scholar. This is knowledge that is coming after studying from him. Remember, Bhagavad Ramanuja has studied before also. He has studied from Yadava Prakasha already. Even at that time, he showed his excellence. So as a person who had already studied from multiple acharyas, as a person who had already studied from multiple acharyas, Bhagavad Ramanuja had the qualification to learn more advanced things. Tirukkoshtiyur Nambi was the most appropriate person to teach these things. He was the most appropriate person, and he had been well taught by his Acharya, Yamunacharya, Alavandar as we call him in Tamil. Now, Tirukkoshtiyur Nambi was qualified for the knowledge, and he had the knowledge. Therefore, he was able to teach it. When teaching such an advanced topic, will you teach it to anyone who just comes to you and falls at your feet? You should not. You should think who the person is. It is very important. Whether you are imparting knowledge or whether you are giving a boon, you should always think twice. Dasharatha did not think twice. Therefore, he suffered. Sita Devi, when Hanuman asked her permission to torture the Rakshasis, she refused. Why? Hanuman said, please give me a boon. She asked him, tell me what boon do you want? Then I will tell you whether I will give or not. Why? She could have immediately said, oh, you have already been a messenger for me. When I was here in Ashoka Vatika, with so much sadness, thinking about Rama all the time, but only having people like Ravana to look at. You came as a messenger, delivered the message of Rama, and delivered my message to him, which resulted in Rama coming to Lanka, killing Ravana, and saving me. With all of that gratitude, shouldn't Sita immediately say, ask whatever boon you want, I will give you? She does not ask. And Hanuman, when he tells what his desire is, she says, no, don't do it. She protects the Rakshasis. Does it mean she is ungrateful? No, it does not mean that she is ungrateful. She knows dharma better than everybody else. Gratitude should also be shown only in a dharmic way. We cannot commit adharma or permit adharma in the name of gratitude. Therefore, Sita Devi is very particular. She asks, and then Hanuman replies. Then she says, no, I cannot give you that boon. And then she teaches him the concept of Sharanagati to imply that indirectly, directly or indirectly, in this case indirectly, these Rakshasis have done Sharanagati to her. She has accepted their surrender. And therefore, he should not harm them. If she had given a boon in advance, what would have happened? It would have affected the Abhaya Pradana that she had granted. She had granted Abhaya to all of them. So this is very important for us. We should not judge based on little information. It is very easy to say, oh, Sita did not have gratitude. She should have given the boon. Why did she not give? No, she remembered. She remembered what happened to her father-in-law when he gave a boon to Kaikeyi. Poor Dasharatha, he could not even open his mouth. His face is sunk, looking at the ground. He is crying, not speaking. Kaikeyi tells Rama, you have to go to the forest because of the promise your father has given me. So, all the suffering that Dasharatha had. Shoko nashayate sarvam nasti shoka samo ripuhu, Valmiki says. Sadness is the greatest enemy. And that sadness destroyed Dasharatha's life. Sita knows all of that. She has seen all of that. So, the intelligent person would know how to behave where. There is Samanya Dharma, which is what you would normally expect Dharma to be. Then there is something called a Vishesha Dharma, which depends from case to case. What happened with Tirukoshtiur Nambi was Vishesha Dharma. When he told Bhagavad Ramanuja to go back and come some other day, Bhagavad Ramanuja has traveled a long distance. But he says, you go back and come some other day. This person, very knowledgeable, very intelligent, already very popular. Obviously, Tirukoshtiur Nambi would have heard about Bhagavad Ramanuja. Let us say he hasn't. Even so, a Shishya with so much humility has walked all this distance. He is already certified by another student of your Acharya, and he has been sent to you specifically. He is coming to you, speaking with complete humility and falling at your feet. You are still telling him, come some other day. How is it fair? Remember, Tirukoshtiur Nambi did not do this once or twice. He sent back Bhagavad Ramanuja so many times. 18 times it happened, the whole incident. 18 times Bhagavad Ramanuja had to travel before becoming a Shishya. Isn't this extreme sin? Isn't this extreme ego of being the Guru that you are torturing the Shishya? The ordinary eye might think that way. The ordinary eye might think, oh, Goshtipura was a very, very evil person, egoistic person. But that is not so. Had he been of such a cruel nature, Yamunacharya would not have taught him so much. The Shastras dictate that we should teach only to qualified people. They should be qualified by good character, good intent. So many things. They should have control of their senses. We have seen before, right? Sadbuddhi, Sadhu Sevi, Samuchita Charita, Tattva Bodha Bilashi. We have seen all of that. So, as a person who is having immense knowledge and who is supposed to teach something very advanced, it is his duty to test the qualification of the person coming to learn. Furthermore, it is his right. Shishya prapya pariksham krutavidabhimatam tatvata shikshaniyaha. Swami Deshika says, you can teach all the tattvas. Once you see a person showing all Shishya Lakshanas, having conducted appropriate parikshas for him, you can teach him. So you test. Now, the test that is being given to Bhagavad Ramanuja, had it been something about knowledge, nobody would have bothered. If he had asked a number of questions to which Bhagavad Ramanuja had answered, nobody would have batted an eye. They would have thought, oh, this is normal. But the test that he gave him was not about knowledge. It was about humility. Perhaps he also saw divinity in Bhagavad Ramanuja and wanted to show the world how divine people behave. Whatever be the case, him sending Bhagavad Ramanuja back so many times, it was not a crime. The Acharya has the right to demand such things from the Shishya. He has not asked Bhagavad Ramanuja to bring 1000 gold coins or something. This is a different kind of a test. On understanding that his resolve is perfect, no matter how many times we send him back, he will always come. And he is very firm and he is still humble. He is not triggered. He is not impatient. What would people of these days do? You deny them knowledge, they will get angry and they will curse you. Like the fox that could not get the grapes. What did the fox do? The fox jumped, but it could not reach the grapes. Is it the fault of the grapes? No, it is the fault of the fox. The fox is not qualified enough to have the grapes, but what does the fox say? These grapes are sour, as though it has tasted them. The fox cursed the grapes and called them sour, not because they were sour and not because they were bad, but because the fox was itself incapable. Today, we have a lot of such incapable people. They would go somewhere, they would be denied shiksha because their character is not good. Sanatani system of education is like that. Outside, there are systems where you come, you pay money, you are taught, along with everybody else who has also come there simply because their parents have paid money. But the Sanatani system of education is not like that. We have this beauty in Indic schools. You go to Buddhism, you go to Jainism, or you come to our Vedic faith, any branch of it, we have this process. Good people are taught. Bad people should not be taught. So, testing the character and the intent and the devotion of the person is extremely important. Tirukkoshtiyur Nambi wanted to prove to the world the devotion of Bhagavad Ramanuja, which he did through this example. Now this has happened. So Bhagavad Ramanuja's knowledge is already there, but knowledge is not enough. Devotion is very important, and that devotion has been highlighted. Devotion not only towards Bhagavan, but also towards the Acharya. Bhagavan pointed towards an Acharya, that Acharya pointed towards another Acharya. Therefore, this new Acharya, Tirukkoshtiyur Nambi, towards him also Bhagavad Ramanuja is having so much devotion. With this devotion and with this humility, he is learning. He has with him more people. He has not come alone. He has brought two people along. Having brought two people along, he said, they are like Shankha and Chakra for me. They have surrendered to me. So as you are teaching me, please teach them as well. Tirukkoshtiyur Nambi taught them as well. Now, Bhagavad Ramanuja has learned from Tirukkoshtiyur Nambi. What is the popular narrative? This Nambi sent Bhagavad Ramanuja so many times, tortured him so many times to teach him. But all of that knowledge was publicly granted by Bhagavad Ramanuja when he climbed up the Gopuram and shouted. No, that is a very big lie. The popular narrative is a very big lie because the narrative says Bhagavad Ramanuja shouted a mantra We have discussed this before, but right now we are discussing the aspects of Tirukoshti Urnambi in the context of knowledge and devotion. So, when Bhagavad Ramanuja is shouting just a single mantra, shouting is wrong. And secondly, there is a very big logical problem. The logical problem is that he has been studying for so long. Every day he is studying for several hours from Tirukoshti Urnambi. After learning so much, in just 8 letters, if he is giving the message to the public, would you call it a complete transfer of knowledge? Surely not. As a matter of fact, this Ashtakshara mantra that the narrative talks about, where did Bhagavad Ramanuja learn the Ashtakshara mantra from? He received Upadesha from Periyanambi, not Tirukoshti Urnambi. Periyanambi, while performing Pancha Samskara for Bhagavad Ramanuja, taught him the Ashtakshara mantra formally. So, it is not something that he has learned from Tirukoshti Urnambi. What he has learned is deep meanings hidden inside Ashtakshara, hidden inside Charama Shloka, hidden inside Dvaya Mantra, all of that. So deep philosophical meanings were learned by him. This is point number 2. So the claim that whatever he learned with such great difficulty, he immediately shared outside. It is great to say that he was good towards the people, but we should try to be logical and factual as well. That is very, very important. In the name of praising Bhagavad Ramanuja, if we spread fake stories, tomorrow those fake stories will come to haunt us only. So we should be very careful. Now the third thing about shouting the mantra, we have already discussed it before. Mantram yathnena gopayet. Pancharatra says, Gurum prakashayet bhiman mantram yatnena gopayet aprakasha prakashabhyam kshiyete sampadayushi. So, mantras should not be shouted. They should be recited very softly. That Bhagavad Ramanuja, who protected Pancharatra and revived it and spread it across India, would he have gone against Pancharatra? He wouldn't have. Therefore, he did not shout. Point number 3, that he did not shout. If he had shouted, it would have been not only against Tirukoshti Urnambi's teachings, but also against Bhagavan's teachings from Pancharatra. That is point number 3. Point number 4, the assumption that the narrative has that just reciting the Ashtakshara would grant moksha. That is inappropriate. Point number 5, the assumption that mantra diksha is given just by reciting a mantra. That is again wrong. When you give diksha, what is really done? When the acharyas give diksha, they tell you the mantra that they have to do, but that is not all. After reciting the mantra, they will tell you when to use it, when not to use it, how to use it, how not to use it, and what the mantra means. So there are 4 things: the mantra itself, the meaning conveyed by the mantra, when to use the mantra and when not to use the mantra, and how to use the mantra and how not to use the mantra. This much is there inside a mantra diksha. So the narrative that says he just climbed and shouted the mantra fails there. because that just hearing that mantra, okay, are you saying the entire public heard him when he shouted from there? How did they all gather there? If he called all of them, how did they all go there? He is a new person to that place itself. Why will they all go there? If he was calling the entire village, how did Tirukoshtiyur Nambi not know? So many questions could be asked. So many speculations could be done. Why to unnecessarily get into incorrect assumptions in the name of glorifying an Acharya and going against the Shastra itself? It is given in Divya Suri Charita that it is the Charama Shloka, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja, Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha. That Bhagavad Gita's Charama Shloka that was explained by Bhagavad Ramanuja. The explanation of that shloka is the concept of Sharanagati. That Sharanagati is what leads to moksha. That is what he has taught people. He did not shout it. He taught it in a formal way to people who were qualified to learn, not to any random person. If you give a flower to a monkey, the monkey would just throw it off, or it might tear all the petals away. You cannot add Ganga Jala to the sewage, right? You cannot do that. Where do you give Ganga Jala? Where do you give the flower? You give it to appropriate people. So, this great knowledge, which might be super attractive like a flower, still needs to go only to those who are attracted by it. Everybody is not attracted by it. Secondly, I'm implying that everybody is not attracted by bhakti. Okay. And Sharanagati. Sharanagati to be more specific. Without bhakti, there is no Sharanagati. As explained in Sri Vaishnavism. The second thing that is necessary is their qualification. Just wanting to learn is not enough. The desire to learn is called arthitvam. The qualification to learn is called samarthatvam. The capability of using that knowledge in an appropriate way is the mark of qualification. Therefore, it becomes the duty of the Guru to test the Shishya before teaching. If you teach Brahmastra to a person like Ashwathama, what will happen? We know from Mahabharata what happens when inappropriate people are taught. So, Bhagavad Ramanuja, he did not teach inappropriate people. The people he taught to were appropriate and qualified. He ensured that he is teaching only the right people. And where is the problem? Tirukoshtiyur Nambi has a problem because he thinks such a great secret should be taught only after testing a lot, which is indeed true. But Bhagavad Ramanuja is already confident. He has already tested and he is already confident. Therefore, when Tirukoshtiyur Nambi asks, do you not know that if you teach it to a person who is undeserving, you will get Naraka? Bhagavad Ramanuja said, according to me, these people are qualified. But if by chance my judgment is wrong, if by chance I have indeed sinned by teaching them, that sin is going to come to me and not to them. From that sin, if I am going to Naraka, but from that teaching, if these people are going to moksha, then I am fine with attaining Naraka. If by me entering Naraka and suffering, all of these people could attain moksha. This was the mindset of Bhagavad Ramanuja. So, what do we see in this mindset? We don't see a display of knowledge. We don't see Bhagavad Ramanuja citing Shastras, citing some 500 Pramanas. We don't see him debating. We don't see that. So knowledge is not everything. Knowledge is important, but much more than knowledge is devotion, truthfulness, good character, all of that. Truthfulness is extremely important. So when Tirukoshtiur Nambi heard the words of Bhagavad Ramanuja, he is willing to suffer in Naraka if by him suffering others could go and attain moksha. What a great person he is. I suspected such a person to be incapable of judging people, and therefore I asked him the question. That is very wrong. He is 100% capable. He is 100% qualified to do whatever he is doing. So Tirukoshtiur Nambi understood that. This is the story. This is the part that we did not cover in the previous lecture. Parts of what we discussed were explained in further detail in another class about that Gurum Prakashayat Dhiman Shloka and everything. In the context of Tiruppanazhvar, he had great devotion. At that point, he did not have the knowledge of a person standing in front of him. He did not realize that he is blocking the path of a person who is going to take bath or who is going to take water, whatever. He is going to the water body. You are in his way. What is going to happen? Due to immense devotion, Tiruppanazhvar failed to recognize sage Lokasaranga, who was in front of him. He is in devotion. He cannot recognize anybody in front of him. He is like a statue. Therefore, he could not hear the words of the sage. Now, the sage also did not want to hurt him or anything. This was not some kind of casteism or anything. And this was not some hatred. But the sage wanted him to move away. He is not moving away. What do? I spoke to him. He couldn't hear. Okay, let me notify him by throwing a small stone. He threw a small stone, not intending to hurt him a lot or anything, but to notify him that the sage is here and he has to move. Unfortunately, what he did was wrong. To notify a person, is this how you notify a person? You take a stone and throw at him. What if it injures him and hurts him? It injured him. It hurt him. And when it hurt Tiruppanazhvar, it hurt Bhagavan as well. Can Bhagavan ever feel hurt? Could he ever feel pain? He can never feel pain. He can never be hurt. But he behaves exactly like a person who feels hurt and who feels pain. This paradukha dukkhitvam, as they say, one being sad on seeing another person sad, one suffering on seeing another person suffering, that kind of empathy, Bhagavan cannot have it by definition. Yet, he will behave 200% like a person who displays it. So, when you say Bhagavan feels hurt, no, Bhagavan is not hurt, but he is behaving as though he has been hurt. He is behaving as though he has been injured. He behaves that way. Now the bhakta, the devotee, when he sees Bhagavan bleeding, he will panic. The devotee who is in a mode of devotion, he will not be in the mode of knowledge. When you go to a temple, do you go in a mode of knowledge or do you go in a mode of devotion? You should go in a mode of devotion to pray to Bhagavan. That should be the intention. It should not be knowledge. I am going to this temple, but I just want to know which kind of people come here, what kind of networking I can do. No, no, no. Those kinds of things should not happen. So, your aim should be devotion, not knowledge when you go to a temple. Now says Lokasaranga in the temple, in a mode of devotion. He is seeing Bhagavan bleeding. At that point, is he going to logically think, oh, it is Bhagavan, he is the creator, sustainer, destroyer of all, it will never bleed for him. This is just him acting. There is nothing to worry. No, he did not behave that way. Bhagavan knew he will not behave that way. He started panicking. So, we should understand that on one side there is knowledge. On another side, there is devotion. So it is very much important for us to understand how knowledge and devotion are different from each other, but how both are necessary. If I have devotion, can I ignore knowledge? I should not ignore knowledge. Knowledge is still good. Bhagavad Ramanuja had devotion, but he still wanted to grow his knowledge. I have a lot of devotion. Why should I study Ramayana? I will just do surrender. I will not study anything. There might be people who are unable to learn, and that is fine. Learning everything is not mandatory for moksha. But you should definitely have the genuine intention, the genuine interest. And that interest in growing knowledge should be driven by bhakti. Devotion to Bhagavan should lead you to know more and more about him and his teachings. And as you know more and more about him, that knowledge should again give you more devotion. So devotion will give knowledge, knowledge will give devotion. In that way, they should reinforce each other. That is the ideal case. Tirupanalvar was an enlightened being. Lokasarangama Muni did not understand it. Therefore, Bhagavan ordered him to bring him to the temple. Lokasaranga Muni fell at the feet of the Alvar. He said, Bhagavan himself has told me. Initially, the Alvar was refusing. Then the sage said, if you consider yourself to be so lowly that you cannot keep your feet inside the temple, don't worry about it, because I will be carrying you on my shoulders. In that way, he was carried on the shoulders of the sage and taken inside the temple, which is something that we can see even today being celebrated It is called Munivahana Bhoga. So, till today, till date, it is being celebrated. Here, the devotion that he had played a role. Initially, the sage had knowledge, but he could not detect the devotion. Tirupanalvar, who is there in front of me, this person in front of me, he is in a state of bhakti. Therefore, he is not able to hear me. He could not understand that. Therefore, he sinned. So, knowledge, when you don't have devotion or when you cannot understand devotion, is not going to be of help. On the other side, there is devotion. That devotion will definitely help, no matter what. Lokasaranga was also a sage. Therefore, Bhagavan spoke to him. The third case, that of Yadava Prakasha, where Bhagavad Ramanuja had knowledge as well as devotion. He had knowledge and he had devotion. He had devotion to Bhagavan and he also had devotion towards his Guru, even when the Guru was teaching wrong things. Very, very humbly, Bhagavad Ramanuja expressed his disagreement. How humbly? Not even speaking, but crying. Your tears fall on the Guru. Then the Guru asks what happened and you explain. We have seen that part before. I am not going to cover it again. So, Yadava Prakasha, he had a lot of knowledge, but he did not have that devotion to give him humility. Vidya dadati vinayam. Have you heard? There is a famous shloka. That shloka says, Vidya dadati vinayam. Vinayadyati patrata. Patratvat dhanamapnoti. Dhanat dharmam tatas sukham. Vidya, that is knowledge, education, it should give vinaya. It should give humility. That humility you would get only when I am unable to mute this person. PhD, could you kindly mute the person? Vidya, that is knowledge. How does it give humility? It gives humility by giving devotion. Once you get that devotion, you will be able to do things in a better way. As you learn, you realize that there is much more to learn. That is a different kind of humility. But there is one more kind of humility that makes you understand that you are a dasa of Bhagavan and a dasa of all the Bhagavatas as well. When you get that humility, you will treat people in the same way. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichaiva shvakecha panditas samada. As Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita. So we need that knowledge. We cannot ignore knowledge because it gives devotion. What if I have devotion but in the wrong person or in an imaginary being? What if I have devotion in the wrong sense? I think this is devotion. I think I am very much devoted to Bhagavan. Out of great devotion, I am going to offer him 1000 heads. So I will go look for people nearby and I will chop their heads off. Will that be counted? No. I might be devoted, but whatever I'm doing out of that devotion should also be correct. So devotees are bound by the Shastras. Shastra is called Shastra because there is Shasana. It's meant to be followed.
It is getting over. Yeah, but actually, that Rahul Gandhi தலையை குனிஞ்சு உட்கார்ந்துட்டு தலையை குனிஞ்சு இப்படி உட்கார்ந்துட்டு இருக்கான் ராகுல் காந்தி.
Swatiji, are you there? So, it is necessary for us to understand that at all points of time, devotion is necessary. But in the name of being devoted, we cannot have wrong knowledge because wrong knowledge will lead to wrong practices. Devotion does not give us the right to declare what is right and what is wrong. Devotion does not give us the right to say whatever we want, we can do because this is how I experience Bhagavan. We cannot say that. If somebody says, I experience Hiranyakashipu as Bhagavan and I experience Vishnu as the devil, a staunch enemy of my Bhagavan, will you accept it? You will not accept. You should not accept either. So, devotion should be at the right place towards the right person in the right way. For that, again, knowledge is necessary. Yamadutas thought Yama is the greatest person. They had immense devotion for Yama. And they thought he is the supreme master of the multiverse. He is the supreme Lord, Paramatma. Like that they were thinking. Therefore, they did not believe that Vishnu Dutas were correct. But when Yama himself told them, no, 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 I am not the supreme being. There are people superior to me. You people are devoted to me. You have been thinking me to be the supreme being. While it is good that you are devoted, please know that I am not the supreme being. Yamadharmaraja tells this. So, in this case, his servants had devotion in him, but they did not have the right knowledge to decide whether the person should be taken to Yamaloka by them or to Vishnu Loka by Vishnu Dutas. So when you have devotion without knowledge, you might end up committing apachara. Devotion is what we always highlight in Sri Vaishnavism because that is the more difficult thing. Knowledge is easier to attain than devotion. But this devotion that we are talking about, it is a particular kind of devotion, sattvic devotion, devotion as ordained by the scripture. That is very important for us. It is not any kind of devotion. going to a cricket match and shouting Jai Shri Ram when India defeats Pakistan is not devotion. It is a sense of pride. Yes, India has won. Yes, Hindus have won. Jai Shri Ram, victory to Rama. That is different. But devotion, the way Shastras have prescribed for us to elevate ourselves, is very different. You cannot expect that knowledge with everybody. A person who is knowledgeable is very rare to find. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tatvatah. So it is very, very, very rare to find a person who knows Bhagavan the way he is and performs the necessary things till the very end to attain him properly. Siddhi paryantam yatate. Bhagavad Ramanuja says, some people try, among them also only some people try till the very end. Among those people who try till the very end also, only some people understand the concept completely. So, it is very rare. Likewise, even with the Devas. Oh, is it rare among humans but very common among Devas? No. Even among the Devas, it is rare only. So, knowledge is rare, but that knowledgeable person is celebrated everywhere. Shankara Bhagavad Pada, in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he says, Jnani Vishnoho Tattvavit. Jnani is one who knows Vishnu Tattva. That Vishnu Tattva, as taught by Vaishnavism, is what one should know to attain Vishnu Pada. If you are following that path, you need the knowledge of Artha Panchaka. Who is the Supreme Being? What is our relationship to Him? How do we attain Him? What prevents us from attaining Him? What happens when we attain Him? We have discussed that in detail before. But this knowledge should be there. Likewise, knowledge that we should respect Bhagavatas. We should respect Bhagavatas. It is easy to say, do you think you are so great? A Vaishnava should think of himself as a dasa. Therefore, you should also think of yourself as a dasa, and I will treat you like a dasa. Will that be fair? No. He might really be a dasa, but you should treat him like a Swami if he is a Vaishnava. If he is a Vaishnava, if he has undergone Pancha Samskara, if he has learned the meanings and is reciting those things and is behaving like a mumukshu trying to attain moksha, you should treat him like a Swami without understanding the real nature of Tiruppan Alvar. Lokasaranga Manuni committed the mistake. There are people who, even after understanding the nature, they will still behave that way. And it is tricky because think about it this way. The sage is supposed to respect the Alvar, but the Alvar cannot demand respect. He cannot say, you should respect me. Can he say? He cannot. If he says, you should respect me, it means he is egoistic. But because he did not say anything about that, what happened? A sin got committed. It is not the fault of Tiruppan Alvar that it happened. It is indeed the fault of sage Lokasaranga only. So we understand it as the duty of a Vaishnava to recognize and respect other Vaishnavas, irrespective of age. One who does not have that respect cannot have pure devotion in Bhagavan. Because pure devotion in Bhagavan, when you have pure devotion in Bhagavan, that devotion would drive you to do what he wants and not do what he doesn't want. In Narada Bhakti Sutras, wrong types of bhakti have also been discussed. So, there are times when we might think we are devoted, but maybe we are not. Such devotion, that is still devotion. Like the example I gave, chopping the heads of people. I will be thinking, oh, this is great devotion. I am a great devotee. In my mind, I will be a devotee. I will have great regards for Bhagavan. But if whatever I am doing is wrong, then will I incur sin or will I not incur sin? That is the question. The answer is that I am a sinner. I am a sinner who has already committed sin, because of which I have not been able to understand how to behave. That is how it should be understood. So, to end this lecture, I will tell a very small thing. When you have both knowledge and devotion, you have the right knowledge and you have the devotion as well, it leads to perfection. When you have knowledge, but when you don't have devotion, it is useless. Because without devotion, even in Advaita, where it is said that knowledge gives moksha, there Shankara Bhagavad Pada says you need devotion for Chitta Shuddhi. Therefore, he has composed so many stotras. So many places he has praised Vishnu. So many places he has praised others also. So devotion is important. And as per Vishishtadvaita, devotion is 100% important. If you don't have devotion, it is useless. If you don't have knowledge, but you have devotion, it will slowly lead you towards knowledge. And then you could go towards perfection. But this is the ideal result that has been typed here. There are people who have inappropriate devotion. What does Bhagavan say about them? Agnya chedi mamadrohi mad bhaktopi na Vaishnavaha. One who disobeys the rules of scriptures, even after knowing the rules of the scriptures, that person is considered by me to be a drohi, a betrayer. Such a person, even if he is my devotee, mad bhaktopi na Vaishnavaha, I will not consider him as a Vaishnava. And of course, if you have neither knowledge nor devotion, you will end up associating yourself with the body. You will get trapped by Rajoguna and Tamoguna. You will get Ahankara and Mamakara. You will commit sins, and those sins will lead you to Naraka. So, with this, I would like to conclude today's lecture. If you have any question, feel free to ask.
Sir, I have one question. Does Pancha Samskara mean Samashrayam?
Yes, both are the same.
Okay, sir. And where can I find the recordings of these lectures?
These are uploaded on YouTube.
Okay, sir. I'll check that. Thank you.
I will share the link with you. These are uploaded on YouTube, as these are conducted by the School of Ancient Wisdom.
I think I already subscribed to that channel, sir. I'll check that. Thank you.
Okay.
Do share the links on video.
I will share it. No problem. I will share it on WhatsApp.
Also, Swami, you said that you will be explaining the Vishishtadvaita perspective of Brahman.
You're asking at the end of the lecture. I don't know, Swatiji, do we have time? If we have time, I'm fine with explaining. The thing is, I have already started late and ended late. See, Let it be in this, let it be for this lecture. Okay, I'm sorry. But next lecture, I will start with the explanation of Aham Brahmasmi as per Vishishtadvaita. Okay, we will start with that itself.
Okay, sir.
We will look at Mahavakyas as per Vishishtadvaita. We have already seen, but we will see again. Any other question?
Swami, if I have a doubt, if there is no knowledge and there is devotion, so you know that it slowly leads to perfection. But
I
if
said
there is
it
no
is the
knowledge,
ideal case. In the ideal case, where there is no knowledge but there is devotion, it will slowly lead to perfection. But there are also cases where that devotion itself is inappropriate. We might be having proper devotion, but we might have devotion without following Shastras. And where we are being ignorant, where we are not following Shastras because we don't know, we genuinely don't know, that is fine. That kind of devotion would still lead you towards perfection. But if you know what is said in the scripture, and if you still ignore it out of ego, see, there are people who ignore things out of ego. The scripture demands me to do this, but I don't like it. I don't like it, therefore I will cancel it. There are people like that. The scripture will demand the Brahmana to do Sandhya Vandana thrice a day. I don't like Sandhya Vandana, therefore I won't do. If a person behaves like that, he has devotion, but he does not understand that even Sandhya Vandana connects him to Bhagavan and that this is also a part of devotion and everything. So, at somewhere where there is genuine ignorance, it is forgiven. It eventually that ignorance will be removed. But where the person already knows, Bhagavan has only granted the scriptures. The scriptures have only asked us to do these things. Even after that, if we say, no, no, we will not do, that means we are hypocrites. We will accept Bhagavan wherever we want him. I accept Bhagavan. I like Bhagavan because he looks very attractive. Oh, he looks so attractive. Therefore, I am a devotee. But that Bhagavan tells me, speak the truth, be a good person. I will not follow any of that. But I will demand that others follow it. Then what kind of devotee am I? I am a devotee, right? I will always say Hare Krishna. I will go to every Krishna temple. I don't care, Gaudiya, Vallabha, Sri Vaishnava, all Krishna temples I will go. I will be the first person, first devotee to go there and worship him. I am so much attracted by Krishna. But I am attracted by Krishna and that's it. I don't have knowledge and I don't care about the scriptures. Because I think I am spiritual and not religious. Then what kind of devotion is it? Maybe it is pure devotion, but only a part of it. Get it?
understood.
In being attracted by the form of Bhagavan, I am very devoted. But am I devoted to Bhagavan himself in a proper way? No. In that case, where I am intentionally ignoring knowledge, even after it has come to me, I am sinning. That sin will push me away from Bhagavan and it will push me away from Bhagavan by decreasing my devotion. Remember this. As long as devotion is there, it will lead you towards perfection. There is a reason why, although this is only the ideal case, I have put only the ideal case here. Because as long as there is devotion, it will lead you towards perfection. But when that devotion is not proper and you are sinning, what will happen? That devotion itself will be destroyed. The most common destroyers, we say ahankara and mamakara, they are what do most of these things. Perhaps all. I don't know. But devotion gets destroyed for such people. Therefore, they go in the wrong path. If they are somehow able to maintain devotion, it means they are not evil people, they are not hypocrites. Then they will go towards perfection. Is it clear?
Clear, sir.
Any other question? श्रीवत्सवं शकलशोदधिकौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासराघवगुरोस्तनेम ततश्च विद्यावाप्य विबुधोक्तमतां दधानं पूर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं श्रीमते रामानुजाय नमः श्रीमते निगमान्तमहादेशिकाय नमः. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.